Hey everybody, this is Coach Malia. So I'm making this video today for my Beachbody coaches about how to build your business using a personal blog. But this can really apply to anybody who owns, runs, manages a small business and is using a blog to increase your outreach and to help build your business. This really applies to anybody who uses blogging for their small business. So let me share a little bit of info I have here for you. About why blogging is a good idea. Why is blogging so popular? Let's get started. Okay. Okay, so what's happening to me? Why would we want to have a blog? Let's go there first. What's the reason? Why would somebody do this? I think the biggest reason, if your primary business is not blogging, but you want to use a blog to help build your business, the best reason I can think of you would do that would be to allow people to get to know you. This platform is a little bit more in depth than just general like social media, little Facebook posts, things like that. You're limited in how in depth you can get. Usually, it's just a picture, a little bit of text, just little snippets here and there. But if you really want people to get to know you, to really get to know your story in an in-depth way, I think a blog is a great idea. And in my business, in Beachbody coaching, so much of our business is people not really buying your product. It's people buying you. People see themselves in you, they identify with you, and that's why they choose to give you their business. So in order for that to happen, they've really got to be able to get to know you. That's hard if they can't meet you personally. So this is a good way to kind of help bridge that gap with people. Another good reason is that it builds your reputation and positions you as an expert. If you make a blog that's kind of a resource to people, that offers them valuable information and can make you look like, man, you really know your stuff, and you can get yourself to a point where somebody's thinking, man, I wonder how to do X, Y, Z. And they think, why don't I go to such and such's blog for it? You become this resource, this source of information for people. That is humongous. So that takes a really long time to develop, but there are some, really big, really popular blogs out there that have gotten to that point. Also, this allows you to build a community of followers that you can market to. So these are people who are following your blog, who are reading it regularly. You kind of know that they like you. So this isn't like, if you're trying to sell something, you're not knocking door to door to strangers' houses. If you've got this community of people who are following you, who like what you have to say, who identify with you, when you present whatever your business is, whatever, I don't want to say sales pitch, but whatever, you are selling in your business to them, they're going to be a little bit more ready to hear that than just some total stranger who doesn't know you at all. If someone's like, well, it's Malia, let me at least see what she has to say. So these are followers that you can market to. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Okay, so let me talk about some things you should always keep in mind with your blog. First, if you've already started, go back and do this. But if you haven't started a blog yet and you're thinking about it, think about from the jump, what is the purpose of your blog? This can allow you to think of kind of a theme. If you look at my blog, I talk a lot about food, obviously, and fitness. Those are really like the main areas that I focus on. But that's just kind of a theme. What is the purpose? Are you here to inform people, to give them information about a certain topic? Are you here to just, present information? Whatever that is, you need to define that really clearly from the beginning, because as you get going with your blog, I think sometimes people kind of change course, they kind of lose direction, and that's going to cause you to lose followers. So keep a really clear idea of like a few kind of main topics you want to post about, and keep it generally within there. I'm not saying you can't ever deviate from that, but I think people, when they have like their list of blogs that they follow, they're like, oh, I follow this girl for her food posts. I follow this girl for her, parenting posts, whatever. I'm not saying you can't ever deviate from that, but just keep it in kind of a general theme. And then the other thing you always want to keep in mind, who is your intended audience? And for many of us, especially as Beachbody coaches, we always say that our intended, customer is somebody like us, somebody that can, you know, identify with us, that sees themselves in us. So, you know, go through and make a list of what are things about you, you know, how would you describe yourself? And I'm not just saying like, oh, I'm 30, I'm a mom, I'm a wife. That applies to a lot of people. What makes you really specifically you? Are you a vegetarian? Do you have cats? Do you live in the South? Like, what things are specific to you? And I'm not saying that those are the only people you can market to, but that's going to help you kind of define like who this person is that you're writing to. And always keep that in mind when you're making your post. You're not just typing something up and sending it out into midair, outer space to just never be read. You're writing this to a person, and you want to keep that person in mind as you're making your posts. So here's kind of the bummer thing. At this point in time, everybody has a blog. Lots and lots of people have blogs. So you want to find a way to stand out from the crowd. And this is kind of what I talked about a minute ago. Making a list of everything that makes you and that's my son, of everything that makes you and your reader unique and different. And I think a big mistake that a lot of people make, especially in the beginning, is they try to just appeal to everybody. Well, I'm going to be a mom blogger, so I'm going to write stuff that appeals to all moms. First of all, so many people are trying to do that. You'll get lost. You will absolutely get lost. And there's some huge, like mom blogs out there. You're going to have a really hard time competing with those. So what I'm saying is, if you try to appeal to everybody, you will end up appealing to no one. People can sense that. Like, you know, if you're just so vanilla all the time and you don't offer an opinion about things, you don't offer a unique spin on things, you have nothing to offer. So I know it sounds crazy, but my advice is to really get specific. Like, you know, I'm not saying you should go making crazy like political posts that are really going to alienate people, but it's okay if your target audience isn't like everybody out there. You know, it's okay if you include things about, you know, your faith. It's okay if you include things about, you know, your views on certain issues. You know what I mean? Just don't alienate people, but you don't have to please everybody. Make your blog a little bit specific. If your family eats, you know, gluten-free only, that's something that, you know, not everybody does that. Not everybody lives their lives that way and eats that food. We don't, but a lot of people do, and a lot of people are looking for information and resources on that. So don't be afraid to make it like specific to you and to your life. Go ahead, bud. Or say if you got a bad little toddler that likes to come interrupt your calls, you know, you can mention things like that, of course. So yeah, you just want to find a way to stand out, make your voice a little bit different than all the stuff that's already out there. So let's think about how you write your post. You got your blog all set up. How do you do it? Is it like, you know, writing an essay or whatever? The biggest point I would give is to type as you would speak. You know, if you don't speak with correct, proper English 100,000% of the time, nobody does. Like, don't do that. You want this to be your voice. You're not writing a term paper that's going to be graded. On the other hand, hey. Sorry, son. On the other hand, you don't want it to be so full of like spelling and grammar errors that people can't read it. But just be kind of casual. Be yourself. Most of all, don't try to change how you would, you know, think or feel or speak just for this blog. Be you. That's what people are drawn to. So when it comes to the actual like nuts and bolts of how do we write these blog posts, I think that's a difficult thing for a lot of people is, oh my gosh, what am I going to write about? And I'll talk about that in a minute. But these ideas for like, okay, it's Monday morning, I'm going to sit down and write my blog. That can cause major writer's block. So I find that like inspiration for me for post ideas comes at really weird times. So keep, you know, your phone or like a notebook handy and give me those. Give me that. I'm sorry. Keep a notebook handy and just anytime you get an idea, write it down. And I usually get like 3 or 4 at a time. And obviously I'm not going to sit down and write all those posts at a time, but I don't want to lose that, hey, I don't want to lose that that idea that comes to my mind. So I'm going to just write it down, and later when I'm doing my blogging, I'll take the time to do that. So say you've got your topic in mind. All right, I know I'm going to write a blog post tomorrow. Start thinking about that the night before. You don't need to necessarily write notes. Just let it kind of marinate in your mind before you go to bed. You know how it is. Sometimes you wake up in the morning kind of inspired. Your brain's been thinking about it while you're asleep. So just kind of, mull it over a little bit the night before. As you sit down to write, an important thing I would suggest, turn off all your notifications, your Facebook, Instagram, email, text, everything. Take off your notifications. You don't need any distractions. Set a timer also so you don't sit there and waste time. If you know, all right, I've only got 45 minutes to bang out this post, you're going to be a lot more focused on it. Your writing is going to be a lot more fluid, congruent, and it'll just make a lot more sense. Another thing I would suggest, and this one's hard for me because I'm kind of a spelling nerd, don't edit as you go. Just do, I don't want to say stream of consciousness, just write it out, then go back and proofread, edit. Don't throw yourself off by, oh, what word should I use here? Just write it and then go back and fix it. So set a goal of how often you'll write your blog. If your goal is once a week, stick to it. If your goal is every day, stick to it. Just set a goal, mark it on your calendar, make an alarm, make a notification for your phone or whatever, and do it. The last piece of kind of practical info here I would say is to take pictures first and then write. So if I know I'm going to be blogging about a recipe, I haven't written the post yet, I don't have everything all written out, but I do know I want to post about it, so I will take pictures of every single step. I might not necessarily need all of those pictures, but it's nice to have them there rather than, if you write out a recipe post earlier in the day and you think, all right, now let me go through and make this recipe. You might forget to take all the pictures that you wanted. It's easier to have a whole big batch of pictures to choose from and then kind of describe what's in the pictures later on. Okay, so I talked about this a little bit in the last slide. How often should you post? Stick to a schedule. That's all I can say. I can't tell you definitely what the most popular is. I would say no matter what your blog is about, more than once a month is definitely a good thing. Consistency above all, and this is research backed, is more important than frequency. Your readers don't care if you post every single day or every week, but they do care that if you've been posting every week, you better have a post up the following week. Readership tends to really drop off if you stop being as consistent in your posts. Your readers just kind of expect that they'll, all right, Malia posts every Monday or whatever. They kind of start to look for that once you've got a consistent base of readers. So stick to that, and that's really going to help your following grow, is to just be consistent no matter what you pick. Make sure it's something sustainable that you can actually really do. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew and say, I'm going to post 3 times a day, every day for a week. That's probably not sustainable. This is the biggest question people always have when I tell them, oh, you should blog. Well, I don't know what to write about. And I know it can be really difficult. Oh, gosh, it's a big bug. But once you get the hang of it, it's not going to be as hard. Just take a minute to think about what you are likely to read or reshare. So you can either go through the blogs that you're following. Obviously, don't steal material. Another thing I think is helpful, go through your Pinterest board. What kind of stuff do you pin on Pinterest? For me, I always have healthy eating recipes. I have parenting stuff. I have home decoration projects kind of stuff. Those are great topics. Clearly, that stuff you're interested in. Somebody else was interested enough in it to make a post that you repinned. People out there care about that kind of stuff. So like I said, think about what kind of stuff do you like to share, what kind of stuff do you like to read, and that's what you can post about. And follow your general theme. Like I said, if your stuff is mostly about health and fitness like mine is, within reason, don't go too crazy and all of a sudden start making stuff about historical fiction or whatever. Just try to stay kind of on that. You can deviate a little bit here and there, especially once you've got a consistent following. You can branch out a little bit, throw a little kind of a different post out there, see how your readers like it, rein it back in. Once you get more popular, at a certain point you can kind of do what you want. But when you're first starting out, just kind of stick to a general theme. The next word of caution I would give you, okay, I say to add value. There are some blogs, I think people make the mistake, and maybe they're not trying to do it for business, so it doesn't matter. But if you are trying to use your blog for a business, I wouldn't make your blog just a big diary of, oh, today I took the kids to the park and we went grocery shopping. My husband's been working really late, long hours, blah, blah, blah. So it's just stuff like about your life. And I know people who make like Facebook posts about that all the time, and I skim right through them. You know, especially if it's somebody like you don't really know, if it's not family like you know personally, it's like, oh, okay, that was kind of an overshare, I guess. But you know, and I don't mean to sound like rude or short about this, but at the beginning, people who don't know you don't care enough to know about your, you know, what your kids are doing at preschool that day. And I know that sounds harsh, but I'm just trying to help you to build this blog in a way that will work for you and your business. So what you want to do, especially at the beginning, is to add value. Give people things that are going to help them in some way. Later on, as your blog gets super big and popular, and it will, people are going to want to know more about the person behind this awesome blog, and they will gobble up pictures of your kids or what, you know, your grandma made when you went over for dinner at her house and stuff. Like, they're going to love that, but not so much at the beginning. In the beginning, you're trying to build trust, build credibility. So focus on stuff that's going to add value at the beginning. The biggest tip I can give you for this is to find out what things bother or frustrate or cause pain to your readers. And if you're like me, your readers are kind of you. What are the things that just like make your life, you know, less great? You know, people will do a lot to seek pleasure, but they'll do even more to avoid pain. So what are the things in their lives that are bothering them? Is it that their house is super messy because they've got little toddlers like I do that are messing up their house? Is that causing them pain? Is it that they can't reach their health and fitness goals and they feel unhappy with themselves? Is it that, you know, their husband is working 2 jobs and there's never enough time and they just don't have enough, you know, money for their family? What things are bothering them and how can you help them to avoid that pain? If you can help someone to avoid pain, they'll pay you to do it. They will gobble up every one of your blog posts if you can find solutions to their problems. So always keep that in mind when you're posting. What can I do to help my readers today? What are they struggling with and how can I help them? Okay, so specifically here, let's talk about some topics. Just to kind of get the ball rolling. And once you get started with your blog, you probably won't even need this. You'll know what to post about and what your readers like to read. The first place I always suggest you will start is to write a how-to. For me, it's recipes. People love recipes. I love sharing recipes. I just like to look at pictures of food on Pinterest all the time. So for me, like, that is huge and that's really popular, especially like healthy eating recipes that actually taste good, that are easy, that aren't expensive to make. Like, that is a great recipe for me. Tutorials. Think about all the things that you know how to do. And it doesn't need to be stuff that that no one else knows how to do. It doesn't have to be something like you totally invented. Like, I made a post one time about using baby oil to shave my legs because I was like, man, this works pretty well. And I'm like, I'm sure most people, or at least a lot of people, like, kind of already knew about that. I wasn't reinventing the wheel, but not everybody knows. Not everybody knows how to, like, use good lighting on their, you know, when they're taking a picture with their cell phone. Like, but a lot of people do, but not everyone. So don't think like, oh my gosh, I have to think of some totally new, innovative thing to teach people. No, that's not true. Not everybody knows. Just share stuff that you know how to do, that you're pretty good at. Take a lot of good pictures of like each step as you're doing it. Describe it well. That's going to be really popular. People are going to share it. That is great content. And even just like tips or little hacks, things that have made your life easier. You know, using a potato chip clip to seal up your toddler's bag of whatever really helped and saved time because we lost the original, whatever. Stuff like that that's just going to make people's lives just even like this much easier. People love that stuff. The next thing I would say would be like a product review. And, you know, don't sound all super salesy and like, you know, even if it's not stuff that you're selling in your business. For me, like, you know, a good product could be something, you know, a piece of like fitness gear I found. I wrote one a while ago on like this new kind of detergent I really liked. I mean, I'm a mom. I wash clothes every single day. And I like when I find new stuff that actually works. So I wrote a little review about it, and the company actually contacted me, and they were like, hey, we really thank you for your review. We think if you write something on your blog, we can send you some free detergent. I'm like, absolutely. I love free stuff. So, I mean, if you get like really good at this, you might have companies sending you some free stuff. So that's pretty cool. And people just like to know about stuff. Does this really work, like before they buy it? That's really helpful. And it doesn't sound like you're trying to sell. I didn't make any money off that detergent. So you're not pushing stuff on people. You're just being kind of a helpful friend. The next one, I remember I talked about this, not being too vanilla. Offer your personal take on an issue. If you're trying to run a business, I don't know if I would touch things like immigration reform and things like that. But just about, something that's going on like in your community, or like your kid's school is taking out recess or whatever, and like something like that. Just talk about your opinion on that. And then kind of piggybacking on that, ask for other people's input. Here's what I thought about it. What do you guys think? And open it up to other people. People love to give their opinions. So that could be a really popular post. And once you get like a good following and you get people who are interacting with you, a post you could do for the day is just a Q&A session with readers. So for us, like Beachbody coaches, we have a good working knowledge about, Shakeology or whatever. We drink Shakeology. We offer it to our challenge group members. We would tell them, all right, guys, ask me anything you've ever wanted to about Shakeology. Does it taste, just open it up to what their questions are. They could ask you if it tastes gross, does it have a lot of fiber, how much protein is in it, whatever. Make it something that's relevant to you and your business or your life or whatever your blog is about, and just get that dialogue back and forth with your readers. Finally, the last thing, holding contests and giveaways is very popular, and it's a good way to build a more of a following and get your name out there, because usually the way these work is, you have them, all right, tag, 5 friends, and then once they do that, then you'll give them like 1 point or basically a raffle ticket for whatever this giveaway is. So that's getting more eyes on your page, and people love winning stuff. So that's a good way to kind of boost the spirits of your readers and things. Now I want to get a little bit more specific, specifically for my Beachbody coaches, about what to post on your blog. So that as Beachbody coaches, we have these fitness accountability groups. We usually see a post on our Facebook page, whatever. Hey, join my next challenge group. It starts on such and such date. On your blog, like I said, because you can get more in depth with this platform, you can go pretty in depth on your challenge group invite. It can be a post of like what exactly we do in the challenge. That on Facebook we try to keep those kind of brief. But you can really get more in depth here, explaining exactly what we're doing. And that's really going to help somebody who is just kind of confused about what exactly we're doing. You can make posts about what's going on in your challenge groups that week. Oh, such and such lost 4 pounds this week and she's doing great. You can do like a spotlight on one of your challengers who's in your group. You could talk specifically about, oh my gosh, we've got this new country heat program that's dropping, and talk all about it and stuff like that. You could do a little analysis on some ingredient in Shakeology or something. Use this. This is your blog. Make it work for you. And because it's not social media, I think people are like, it's my social media. I don't want to be spammed with your salesy stuff. Like, people have to come to your blog specifically. So I'm not saying get salesy. I can even put down here the 80-20 rule still applies. Do not get like a commercial. Nobody's going to come to your blog if your blog's super salesy. But you can talk about it a little bit more in depth because this is your platform. On at least your main page, if you get a little bit more, tech savvy, you can include links on each one of the pages of your blog for people to join your challenge group or sign up for coaching. If you've ever seen like Lindsay Matway's blog, she's got a little tab at the top that says, join my next challenge, and people can sign up right from her page because, people are going to be reading your blog and they're like, man, this person is awesome. I love what they're all about. And even if you're not a Beachbody coach, include some way for people to contact you, to reach out to you, because they love your blog and everything that you've got on there, and they want to be a part of whatever you're doing. Make sure that they can contact you. So I think that's it. Let's see. Yeah. So speaking of ways that people can contact you, if you have any questions about blogging, how do you start a blog? What's the best way to get a domain? How often should I post? Who's my audience? Whatever. I've been blogging for a little over a year now, and it's something that I really enjoy. It's probably one of my favorite platforms to kind of get my message out there because, I like to write, and I like the fact that it's a little bit more personal. I think people can really see me a little bit more for myself than just, oh, that's a funny cat meme on Instagram or whatever. So if you have any questions about blogging, especially ways to build your business by having a blog, I invite you to send me an email. My email there is maliabee@gmail.com, or just comment on this video. Let's see if I can get out of this. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. Hit me up anytime if you have any questions about any of this. And hope you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.